Hey everybody, so this past year I read 100 books. Now, first of all, why would you want to read 100 books? If you're not a reader, I completely understand where you're coming from with that. If you're not a reader though, consider this. You have not found the book that is right for you. And the reason that I say this is because as someone who has taught English literature, I know for a fact that if you are not reading the book that interests you or the story that interests you, you're not going to be able to engage with it. And that's just something to keep in mind because now we are entering into an era where there are a ton of options, almost an overload of options, and there is definitely something out there for you, and I promise you that. Finish this video till the end, and I guarantee you, you're gonna want to go pick up a book. First of all, the reason that I read so much is one, I really love to read books. It's something that I enjoy. I also write books, so that's something that I feel like you can't write books well unless you read books. And I guess it goes for all sorts of things. I mean, if you're wanting to be a basketball player and you don't watch basketball and keep up with that, then you're probably not going to progress very well in your chosen career. Being an author is not my career, but it is something that I really enjoy. So I do like to keep up with that, and I do like to read constantly. The reason that I like to read is not just for entertainment purposes, although that's a lot of it for me. It's also because one, it's a really relaxing hobby to have, and two, you can learn so much from reading. And what's really cool is there are so many books that are actually written to help you progress and to help you grow as a human. And I know that that sounds kind of cliche, self-help and things like that, but you can learn so much through books and they can really change your life. Now, how and why did I read 100 books this year? It's always been my goal to read 100 books in a year, and I actually set my goal on Goodreads. I have a Goodreads account, and I love keeping track of what books I've read on there and the highlights and notes and things, but I always challenge myself to read a certain number of books each year. I believe originally my goal was to read 15 books, and once I got to 20 books, I was like, well, let's do 25, and then it just kind of snowballed from there until finally I was at 93 books. A month left in the year, and I thought, what a shame it would be to get through the year and have 93 books read and not 100. It's just always been a goal of mine, and if you don't read 100 books in a year, that's okay too, because you don't have to. It's just something I always wanted to do, but I've so much information this year, and at times, yeah, it did seem almost like an information overload because there was so much of it, but I think I learned more this year by reading 100 books than I learned in my 4 years of college getting my bachelor's degree. Seriously, you can learn so much from reading. Now, what's really cool is if you're not into reading actual physical books or ebooks, you have another option. We are living in the age of Audible here. I mean, there are so many audiobooks. Just about every book that comes out has an audio version, and they're done really well. The production value on these audiobooks will blow you away. So in order to read 100 books, I actually read a lot of physical books, but then I also listened to a lot of audiobooks. And yes, I absolutely count audiobooks as reading a book because you're getting that same information. Anyone who wants to read an audiobook instead of a physical book or an ebook, I completely understand. A lot of times you don't have time to read specific books. And for me, I only listen to audiobooks for the books that I've wanted to read, but I know I'm not going to have the actual time throughout the day to sit down with an 800-page novel and get through. I can listen to an audiobook that is anywhere from 10 to 20 hours long. I'll do that, but to sit down and read an 800-page book takes a lot of commitment, and I do that all the time. I do read really long books, but a lot of them I know I may enjoy, but it's just such a commitment that I'm not willing to say, okay, I'm going to commit 3 weeks to reading this book. Whereas I can commit a couple minutes a day to listening to the audiobook to see if I even like the book. A lot of times I don't even care for the book or the subject matter. And what's cool is Audible allows you to exchange the books that you do not like. And it's pretty much for whatever reason. You don't like the narrator's boring, or they speak too slowly, and it's just not a fast enough pace for you to get engaged, that type of thing. Exchange it. You can get you another one. That's why I love Audible. If you don't already have an Audible account, check out the link down in the description. It's going to get you a free audiobook to get started. It's super affordable. I really love the fact that Audible offers this subscription service that, to me, I think is a really good deal. I grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s where if you wanted an audiobook, it was almost like you couldn't afford them. Harry Potter was like $80 on audiobook or something crazy because audiobooks are expensive. And if you were to actually go out and buy these audiobooks at full retail price, they're still expensive. They're still gonna cost you a lot of money. But what's cool with Audible is you get 1 credit every month if you just choose their basic plan. And that 1 credit it gets you any audiobook. It doesn't matter if the audiobook retails for $100. You can get that audiobook with your credit that you only paid $15 for. And the cool thing is it's very similar to Netflix and other types of services where if you don't like the service, all you have to do is log in and cancel. You don't have to call them and all this other stuff. When you go to cancel though, they usually offer you some kind of really good deal to stay with them. Because I've gotten to the point, I have over 300 audiobooks, guys. I'm not kidding you. I pay for these. This is something that I invest my money in because I feel like it's a worthwhile investment. Not only do you get your credit every month, but you also get access to the Audible Plus catalog, which is this really huge catalog of audiobooks that are absolutely free to listen to as long as you're a member on Audible. Now, here's a question I also get quite a lot when I talk to my friends and family about Audible. What if I cancel? Do I still get to keep my audiobooks, or does that disappear too? Because with Netflix and Hulu and all those other subscription services, when you cancel, the movies go with it. That's not the case with Audible. What's cool about Audible is no matter if you're a member or not, if you are a member for a month and you cancel, 2 months and you cancel, a day and you cancel, you get to keep whatever audiobooks you purchased with your credits. They're yours forever. That's what I do like about Audible. I think it's a great service, a worthwhile service. And again, if you don't already have an account, that link in the description is the way to go. It's going to get you a free audiobook, and you have a month until you actually have to start paying. By that point, you kind of already know if you like the service or not. If you don't like the service, that's cool. Just cancel. There are no hidden fees with Audible. That's what I like about it. So I did read 100 books by being able to read a lot of audiobooks and by also being able to read a lot of physical books and ebooks. I read a combination of all three. And in fact, at any given time, I usually have at least one ebook going, one physical book, and at least one audiobook going. Right now I have multiple audiobooks going because I like to have a little bit of variety there. What's cool about the Audible Plus catalog, which you get free included with your membership, is there are so many choices that it helped me to reach my goal. That last month of the year, I was so close. I needed 7 more audiobooks or 7 more physical books. So what I did was I got a couple of my short paperbacks that I had been holding off on that, just kind of quick stories. I went through those very quickly. I still needed 3 books in order to hit 100. I was at 97 and I only had, I think it was like 4 days. So I was really stressing because I was so close to meeting that goal. And how terrible would it have been to be right there at the goal and just give up? So what I did was I looked at the Audible Plus catalog, and they let you sort by like length of audiobook, all sorts of different ways. And I found 3 of them that sounded really good and interesting, but that were under 2 hours each. And I thought, you know what? That's super manageable. If I listen to 30 minutes a day of each of them, like I'll have them done in no time. And that's what I did. And I hit my goal with time to spare for the new year. And I read 100 books last year. And like I said, I really don't regret that at all because that was time well spent. I learned so much and I got so much enjoyment out of it. Here are just a few instances where audiobooks have come in handy for me. In the morning when I'm getting ready for work, as I'm brushing my teeth and everything, I listen to audiobooks. That's a good 15 minutes in the morning just doing that I can go ahead and get 15 minutes of an audiobook listened to. 15 minutes every day for the week. That adds up. If you work 5 days a week, that's an hour and 15 minutes of listening to an audiobook just by brushing your teeth, your hair, and getting ready in the morning. That's not counting eating breakfast. What do we do when we eat breakfast? Generally, we eat. We don't do anything else. Now, instead of just scrolling through TikTok, which is also a favorite pastime of mine, it's sad but true, I listen to audiobooks. And so there's probably another, 5 to 10 minutes a day. That adds up to another 50 minutes throughout the week. On my way to work, I have about anywhere from a 25 to 30 minute drive depending on traffic. If I'm lucky, if there's a lot of school traffic in the morning, then I have probably another 10 minutes on top of that. Going to work, let's just say 30 minutes that I get to listen to an audiobook each day. Throughout the week, a 5-day week, again, that is another 2 hours and 30 minutes that I get. And then coming back from work, that's another 2 hours and 30 minutes that I get. So that's 5 hours just driving to work in the week that I get to listen to audiobooks. And I really love that because there's a lot of audiobooks that aren't even 5 hours long, that are less than 5 hours. Like I'm saying here, you can get audiobooks that are an hour, 2 hours. Obviously, if you like the longer ones, they go up to 20 hours and plus. And I've read a couple of those. Those take some commitment. The Harry Potter ones are amazing though. They are just fantastic. If you're looking for your first audiobook, get the Harry Potter one. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, for those of you here in the USA, Philosopher's Stone if you're in the UK. They are narrated so well. It's almost like watching the movie in your head. It is so good. And you get so much more detail than the movies too. Fantastic. I don't reread or re-listen to books, and those are ones that I would actually reread and re-listen to many times. Every year around Halloween, it's like I just want to put those on and listen to them. They're so good. But back to what I was saying, that's a lot of time that is just wasted throughout the week. Yes, I could be listening to music or podcasts and things like that, and those are not a bad option. I get it. There are days when I just don't want to listen. I want to turn my brain off and not listen to a book, and I listen to my music instead. I put Spotify on instead of Audible. That's cool. That's okay. But I'm just saying, in general, that's how you can get a lot of these books read. I know most people have that one book that you've been wanting to read, that you've heard everyone talking about, that you've looked at, you love the cover, you've been eyeing it forever, but you don't have the time. This takes care of that. Once I'm home and I'm cooking dinner, I listen to audiobooks. Anytime I'm doing little tasks around the house, I'm listening to audiobooks. Doing laundry, I'm listening to audiobooks. Washing the dishes, audiobooks. And within a year, you'll be surprised how many books that you can go through. There's information that's out there and we're just not taking advantage of it. We're not getting that information because we think that we don't have the time for it, when I'm here to tell you, we do. I work a full-time job. I work multiple part-time jobs when I get home on the computer. I'm a full-time student getting my master's degree, and I read 100 books last year. It is doable, and I'm not saying you have to read 100 books. You absolutely don't have to, but if that's your goal, make it happen. You can easily make that happen, especially with that Audible Plus catalog. Now you don't have to say, I'm gonna buy 100 audiobooks. I didn't buy 300 audiobooks at one time. Over the course of a couple years of using Audible, I've accumulated that many, and they have such good sales. Every once in a while, they'll also have a sale for members, at least once a month actually, where you can get 3 audiobooks for the price of 2. So you use 2 credits instead of 1, or you can get 2 audiobooks for 1 credit, those types of things. So that's when I really double up. Create you a wish list once you've got an account. Fill that wish list up, and whenever there's a sale, they will email you and say, hey, the book you wanted, it's on sale. You might want to check it out. I've gotten so many audiobooks, and I really haven't spent that much. I mean, I have my monthly subscription with them, but I feel like I get so much more out of that monthly subscription than I do with my Netflix subscription. I mean, I love Netflix, it's cool, but there's months that go by when I feel like I don't even watch anything on there because there's nothing new. That's never the case with Audible. Hundreds and hundreds of books are being published every single day on Audible, and that just means that you have a really big catalog to choose from. And that Audible Plus catalog, those are just bonus. You already get your credit to spend however you want, but you have this huge library of books to choose from, to listen to for free, included in your membership. I mean, you can't go wrong. Like I said, if you get that 1 month free trial in the description, what they do is they give you a credit to spend. You can spend that credit right now, get your audiobook, and then go and cancel if you want to, if that's really what you want to do. I recommend that you get the trial and get your credit, listen to the audiobooks, check out the Audible Plus catalog, give it a week or so, and if you really feel like it's not working for you, cancel, but I have a feeling you'll enjoy it. The production value on these is just so good, and there's so many audiobooks now that are more like actual plays and movie productions. They get full casts for some of these. One of the ones that I really enjoyed was Kate McKinnon's Heads Will Roll is what I think it's called. It's like an adult comedy, but it is hilarious, and it's so much just like watching a movie. They're so good with the visuals. It's going on in your head the whole time. Such a good listen. And then also, if you're into something a little more sci-fi, Neil Gaiman's new Sandman audiobook is out, and they have a full cast on that as well. The full casts are really fun, and the Audible originals are fantastic. Yeah, you can go with different audiobook apps. As long as you're reading, it's cool whichever audiobook app you're using or e-reader app. It's whatever you choose. But I will say that Audible has the biggest catalog because they are the most well-known, they've been established the longest, and they have originals that are only exclusive with them. Audiobooks that you're only going to get with them. They have everybody else's audiobooks, but they also have audiobooks that are only on Audible. So that being said, if you want to read 100 books, or if you want to start off and try and read 10 books this year, or 20, or 50, you can make it happen. It is doable. And like I said, I don't think you'll regret that decision because you learned so much. And I definitely don't regret it because I feel like this year I've learned more than any year up until this point in my life. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up so more people can see it and figure out how they too can read 100 books in a year, or even get started reading a couple books. Subscribe if you want more general good advice and you want to learn more about managing your finances, becoming financially free, and just being able to enjoy every day and get the most out of it. And I'll see you guys later.